Good day, participants, and also to the organizers of the International Virtual Research Conference on Green Technology Education. Thank you very much for having me and for allowing me to share my thoughts about the theme of this virtual research conference. Please allow me to share with you my screen. So my presentation is entitled Preparing Future STEM Leaders Amidst Challenging Times. Please allow me to present my presentation in this format so that I can share the website later and some of the things that I need to show you with minimal transition. I congratulate the organizers spearheaded by the Guimaras State College for pursuing this virtual research conference. Despite the challenging times that we are having right now and all these natural disasters, we still have to continue pursuing green technology education. I think it is important that we need to make a connection between the green technology education and how can we better thrive in the future. So these are the talking points of my presentation. Because this is a virtual research conference, I would like to share with you the research program of Philippine Science High School, particularly the campus where I belong, the Western Visayas campus. And then from this research program, I will be presenting to you the exemplars of green technology education. Third, I will be presenting my understanding of the continuing limitless connectivity from my own perspective. And then, of course, to answer, is there really a need for us to continue? And our brand of caring for students' learning. And since this is an international research conference, please allow me to present to you where exactly I am right now. Of course, this is the Philippines. On the north is, of course, Taiwan. And then you have Japan. And below is Indonesia. And here is China. And this is Southeast Asia. My campus is located in the central part of the Philippines. And this is the aerial view of my campus. Right now, I am somewhere in this part of the city. So, why do we have the research program? Unlike other schools in the Philippines, in the Constitution, Article number 14, it is promulgated that there must be the promotion of science education coupled with technology. And because of that, the Ministry of Science and Technology, but we call it as a department in the case of the Republic of the Philippines, put up several research development institutes. It is said that our school offers specialized science high school program, yet it is a research development institute. And we are considered as a system under the Science Education Institute of the Department of Science and Technology. And why do we exist? We exist because there are two streams in the Philippines: the education for the gifted in the arts and the education for the gifted in science. There's also a counterpart in the Department of Education. However, in our case, we are under the Department of Science and Technology, where the Philippine Science High School is under. Of course, in the elementary level, we have also specialized science classes. In fact, in most schools in the Philippines nowadays, there is a special science class program. But going back to the Philippine Science High School, this is not actually entirely different from what it is offered in the Department of Education. We also have a 6-year curriculum for secondary education. So we have from grade 7 up to grade 12. And our curriculum can either be graded or non-graded. Now, in this 6-year curriculum, this is divided into 3 parts. So the first 2 years, grades 7 and 8, is known as the foundation years. The next 2 years is known as the advancement years. And finally, we have the specialization years. This is purely curriculum above. And then, in the first 2 years, there is an alternative learning activity where scholars have to form group and then pursue their interests. So this is an interest group. And then, by the time they are in grades 9 or 10, they can opt to undergo an internship program. The internship program should be enrolled in a science laboratory where they get to expose themselves to the ins and outs of a science laboratory. Finally, the last 2 years of secondary education is known as the SCALE program. SCALE is an acronym for Service, Creativity, Action, and Leadership Enhancement Program. As a science high school, looking at the highlighted part, this is the extent of science, math, and technology subjects. As you can see, more than 50% is devoted to science. Of course, it is comparable. However, it progresses as the grade level from grade 7 up to grade 12. So from 51.6 until it becomes 66.66%. But our kids also are offered humanity subjects. So these are your English, Filipino language, we have physical education, values education, and social studies. However, when it comes to the research program, this is offered through the 3 subjects where they have to take in research when they have reached grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. So it is a 3-year program. So in these subjects, our scholars are taught about the rudiments of research writing and at the same time doing research as a whole. Now, this is an answer to our mandate, vision, and mission that our scholars are being prepared to become globally competitive Filipino scientists. So that is why I am presenting this to you so that more or less you can have a glimpse on how to prepare future STEM leaders from our end. Now, the publication process in most Philippine schools begin with problem formulation. And then it ends with the binding of manuscript once they have defended their paper. However, in the case of our campus, we decided to pasanyog. What is pasanyog? Pasanyog is a Hiligaynon word. It is the language of people here in our island. Pasanyog means to keep on improving. And so, 3 years ago, we decided that why don't we challenge ourselves and submit the outputs of our students to research publication. So that was the start of our engagement with the publication of our journal articles rather than simply binding chapters 1 to 5 or the research manuscript. And so we have published in peer-reviewed journal, and this is the use of convex lens as primary concentrator of multi-junction solar cells. And this was possible because we collaborated with the Research Center for Advanced Science and Technology, the University of Tokyo. Because as I mentioned before, our students have internship program. In this internship program, our scholars were able to enter the RCAST or the Research Center for Advanced Science and Technology in the University of Tokyo. And because of their exposure during their internship program, they were able to learn the skills, and then they were exposed to a lot of research literature and engage with scientists working on solar cells. And so they also conducted a research on multi-junction solar cells. And then 2 years ago, our students presented in a national conference about the entire process, the publishing a school-based research journal, what is the implementation process, the challenges, as well as our reflections. And other than that, we were able to come up with something related to green technology education when we have the technosocial feasibility analysis of solar-powered UV-LED water treatment system in a remote island of Guimaras, Philippines. And through this, we have scale programs. Again, going back to the non-graded subject where students engage in service, creativity, action, and leadership as we conduct the techno-social feasibility, because we believe that we keep on improving, continuously improving, or what we call as our pasanyog. Now, in the past, we used to bring astronomy in rural areas. But of course, due to the situation that we are in right now, we cannot do that. However, it should not prevent us from looking up and finding ways on how to improve ourselves. And so, aside from publishing our paper, the following year, our scholars decided to have their own school-based research journal. And ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to present to you that probably we are the only high school which has our own school-based research journal. And this is not just a mere compilation because it underwent a review process. And then, in order to keep the spirit of Pasanyog, we brought it to the mall so that we can engage the public about public science and the lab for reading of research articles. Probably the launching of the video is our answer to continuing limitless connectivity. Because this year, 2020, is our third volume. However, due to the current situation, we are prevented from doing so. And so, please allow me to present to you the video launching of our volume 3 of Public Science. All right. The title of my presentation is actually inspired from this policy, which is preparing students, and that could be also other learners across the globe to become globally competitive Filipino science and technology leaders. Now, going back to my presentation, I will now present to you the content of Public Science. But since we have already 3 volumes, I will only present to you the latest research outputs, which I considered as exemplars of green technology education. If you go to our website, which is the Public Science, so this is it. We have research clusters inspired by Harmonized National Research Development Agenda as our response to our commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals. And these are, of course, the wastewater remediation. We have the antibacterial studies, material science, agriculture, computer science, industry, energy, and emerging technology, aquatic and natural resources, and finally, we have health and toxicity. Of these 8 clusters, I will be presenting to you exemplars from the wastewater remediation and the industry, energy, and emerging technology. So let me introduce to you the Visayan character Muro Poro. So this is all about wastewater remediation studies. Water is life. And therefore, we need actually to ensure that we have quality drinking water. In this cluster, our scholars came up with the following projects. The first one is the organomineral shell composites in the removal of chromium in water. Then we have the phosphate adsorption potential of pineapple peel derived biochar. And then we have the column adsorption of cadmium and lead using rice husks and mango peels. So in Guimaras, there are so many mangoes. And finally, we have the quantification of the effect of nitrogen on phosphorus uptake of Chlorella sorokiniana. So this is the contribution of our school when it comes to the green technology education. Now, under the industry, energy, and emerging technology, please allow me to present to you the outputs which I am familiar with. So there are 3 of them. So first is the kinetic analysis of Chubruk Macacao Padhas through gasification. And then we have a novel application of a double convex hemispherical lens configuration in which I am the research advisor, and I am also the research advisor to the rice-based coolant in solar panels can to reduce power consumption. So this is the use of bio-based PCM or phase change material in determining the efficiency of photovoltaic cells. Now, as you can see, these are the headline posters. Because in our school, there are 3 posters that you have to make. You have to prepare a headline poster like this one, and then you have to make a community poster which is intended for young learners, and then we have the technical posters, and that is for high school and experts in the field. When you go to our website, by clicking the headline poster, you will be directed to this page where you can find the community poster and the technical poster. I have already um, opened the window for the community poster. Now, this is the community poster when we conduct a community-based science research congress. This is what they show to elementary learners. So this is a simplified version of what is the research project is all about. Whereas if they have to present in scientific conference such as this, then they have to present that using the so-called technical poster. In that way, we can actually promote the culture of research learning. And then, when you click the, the download article, you will be directed to the journal article of the study. But of course, you can go to our website so that you can download all the articles for free. Again, the website is publiscience.org. So please allow me to close this one. So again, um, the website is publiscience.org. And in the theme, there's this caring for students' learning. I have this moniker as the star teacher because I help students reach for their stars. And as a manifestation of helping our students, we need to answer first the question because safety comes first in this challenging time. Why continue learning despite the challenging situation? So, I would always tell my learners that Isaac Newton had to work from home due to temporary closure of his university. In fact, the university was closed for 2 years. However, it did not stop him from developing calculus and his theories of gravity and optics. Our national hero also came up with so many activities despite his stay in Dapitan when he was exiled. Although being exiled is totally different from being quarantined, yet it is like being isolated as well. However, it did not prevent him from pursuing science. During his stay, he he took time to collect specimens and sent it to his friend for identification. And these three fauna are named after our national hero. By the way, for those who are not in the Philippines, Jose Rizal is the name of our national hero. I think we need to consider again and reflect on our sense of purpose. Because if we think about education, education is for change. Education is towards adapting to these changes. And then for us to be equipped and more prepared for the future. Because in the article written by Francis Dialogo, the last few sentences of the journal article entitled The Philippines in the World of the Influenza Pandemic of 1918 to 1919, and I quote, to be prepared for the emergence of the next possible pandemic. And this was published actually in 2009. If only everyone is reading journal article and learn from them, so probably we could have somehow prepared ourselves in this pandemic. In fact, reading the entire article again would remind you that we have not actually learned from our past. So going back to the goals of education, if we are dealing with this challenging situation right now, I think we need to ask ourselves if we have reached our goals. And I have highlighted here one of the goals: to enjoy our life and our work. So the question is, are you enjoying your life? Are you enjoying your work? Because the model of the teaching and learning process by McLerath and Health tells us that the student achievement is directly linked, as if this is a web. So you have there the student behavior, the state policies, the school policies, the teacher behavior, characteristics, and so on. So in this process, caring for students' learning would entail everyone and all of these factors. And then, take note, the teachers remain as a prime mover. At the end of the day, we are still the center of everything. You can you are considered actually as the prime liner. But then you can also ask yourself, if you are a mover, could it be that you are also the inhibitor of learning? Now, I cannot blame you because of the effects of pandemic, and this must be addressed among teachers. We need to discuss among ourselves the social, psychological, or emotional, as well as the physical effects of pandemic. Not until we address this, then we cannot care for others. And then the availability of provisions for flexible learning in our region where I am located, take note that the provisions are available. In other words, there are available resources. However, we need to consider if we are ready. Now, as you can see, it is ready. I mean, it is available. However, are we ready? But looking at the data, you would notice that we are not ready. But how do we make ourselves ready? The reason for this is, as discussed by the researcher, there is a limited exposure and training on the use and conduct of the flexible learning options. So in our theme, where we have the continuing limitless connectivity, this is analogous to flexible learning options. But how can we offer this to our students? And that is why others would call for canceling the academic year 2020 to 2021. They have this hashtag, yes to academic freeze. But then the question is, should we freeze the school year? In fact, we have already started, yet others claim more still for academic freeze. On the other hand, why should we pursue? Take note that education cannot wait. And if we stop for a year, that would have a tremendous effect in the education capital. That is why UNESCO has this hashtag also. Learning never stops. And I would like to congratulate everyone viewing this presentation, because I believe you lean in this part of education, which is to continue learning. The reason for that is because in the Sustainable Development Goals Number 4, which is the quality education, it is the responsibility of all stakeholders, not only the educators, but parents, and especially the learners, that it is inclusive and equitable quality education which promotes lifelong learning opportunities for all. This virtual research conference is our response to lifelong learning. This is an avenue by which we can share and discuss the issues and concerns in education. Most especially that we are in a challenging situation. Take note that the pandemic simply highlights what has been in existence, the so-called reality. So, supposedly, education must liberate us. This could be our reality. This is the equality, equity, and liberation. In other words, it removes all the fences. It removes all the barriers that regardless of your demographic profile, you can secure that quality education. And it remains a challenge to all of us because teachers are the frontliners. And in order to fulfill our obligation, we must continue learning because we stop living when we all stop learning. In the conceptual framework of science education, please allow me, because my area of interest is the the science education. This is in the case of the public education system of the Philippines. This is the conceptual framework of science education. Now, as you can see, it must be problem issue-based learning. So we are having a problem now. There is an issue which is about the pandemic. Therefore, our strategies and tools must be VOCA. I'm sure some of you have heard or familiar of this, but for those who are not, VOCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Because of the pandemic, there is an a fast rate of change. So for example, in the making of school schedule, we keep on changing. Are we allowed? Are we not? Something like that. And then it is also uncertain. Can we still go back in school by January 2021? There are so many issues to be taken in. So it is complex. And then sometimes you don't simply understand anymore the truth. Therefore, it is also ambiguous. However, VOCA can be in this side, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. However, we can turn VOCA from volatility to vision, from uncertainty to understanding, from being complex to clarity, and then we have from ambiguity to agility. Now, let us consider learning agility from the VOCA. Now, learning agility has several aspects from VOCA. Here, in order for you to become volatile, then there is a self-management. For uncertainty, we need to communicate. For complexity, there is a need for thinking. And then, for ambiguity, there's a need for us to collaborate. And in learning agility, you will notice that one aspect here is research. So there's a need for us to be informed, and there is a need for us to be literate about media. And I'm talking about multimedia. And in order to impart them, we need to consider the 7 skills students will always need regardless of the course they are taking in. So you will notice that these are the 7 skills. And in this challenging time, these skills are adaptability and learning skills. We must be able to adapt to a new situation. We must be resilient. And so, we need to train ourselves how to equip and acquire new skills just to adapt to the new situation. And to do that, let us all remind ourselves that it comes in stages. So we have the enhancement phase and we have the transformation phase. This is the SAMR model, which stands for the substitution, augmentation, modification, and then redefinition. So the issues facing the transition between the face-to-face instruction as well as the online or the virtual learning, just like what we are having right now, must come in 2 phases, and it entails these stages, the SAMR model. I hope we consider that. But the principles remain the same. Is it engaging? Is it affordable? Is it accessible? Is it sustainable? And finally, is it inclusive? Because again, our commitment to sustainable developmental goal is inclusive education. Now, in caring our students, take note that our students are the manifestation of what we bring to them inside the classroom. When pandemic happened, at first, we also felt helpless. But then again, because in our theme, caring for students' learning, I would rather present what are the manifestations by which we cared for their learning on how my learners care for others. And I would like to present to you the COVID-19 storybook entitled Kids Against COVID. A story coloring book. Again, this is a pasanyog because it is not just a storybook. It is a story coloring book. So please allow me to present to you how it looks like. So this is the cover page, and these are the different pages. This is a product again of research because as you can see in each page, we checked research articles in order to come up with these different pages of the story coloring book for children. And at the same time, we also considered what primary articles would tell about the coronavirus. So, going back to the slide, this is a manifestation that our learners care for their learning by imparting their learning to others. And then, despite the pandemic, we have to adapt to the new normal. Fortunately for me, my students won in a global international virtual science symposium. Supposedly, we should be presenting this in in the United States, but then due to pandemic, we were not able to do so. But please allow me to give you an idea what is this research all about. Our scholars were trained to identify mosquito larvae. And having this skill, they decided actually to check in which part of the province has the most number of mosquito larvae and why are there so many mosquito larvae in that area. And because of this study, we're able to impart an information for the village to consider in terms of their community practice and to prevent the mosquito larvae from hatching their eggs. And then we also participated in the Dark Sky Rangers, where my two students won third and second place by advocating dark skies so that we can enjoy the night sky. And then, please allow me to brag for the last time that we participated in the global competition in astronomy and astrophysics and share this with other scholars to Project Talampad. Now, take note that aside from that, our students shared their virtual science experiment. This is entitled as Idulog Project, Rita Narao. This is already the report, but please allow me to present to you how these learners from Haniway Pilot Elementary School and our stakeholders, the Philippine Implementation Team, and the guidebook. So this is a sample of the guidebook where virtually we discuss together with their parents the wonders of science. So I and my scholars together with our counterpart in Japan who are university students shared the wonders of science. And then we held last week patupad. Patupad is a Hiligaynon word which means to put side by side. A virtual forum with national scientists on how to become an outstanding young scientist. So this is a nationwide event participated in by elementary pupils as well as Philippine Science High School scholars. So take note that these are the ways by which the research program is an avenue for our scholars to undergo the so-called green technology education. And at the same time, this may not be the answer to the limitless, the continuing limitless education and at the same time caring for students. But hopefully, through these exemplars and our activities, it might inspire you to embark on doing something within your classroom, in your school, or even in your community. Therefore, in summary, school's research program is an avenue in integrating green technology education. Learning must continue no matter what. But of course, I respect those who are calling for an academic freeze. Teachers are frontliners. Learning equates to living. Be in touch of realities while pursuing the goals of education. We need to embrace VOCA, but the one which is having a vision, and then it must be clear, and we must be agile. And finally, I may not have answered it, but please keep on searching. This might not be the answer to the questions that you have in this challenging time. Keep looking, keep searching, because in the last page of our storybook, as long as we work together, we can fight coronavirus, and we can be a victor of our circumstances in this pandemic. And with that, thank you for your attention. This is my full name, and you may contact me through this email address. Again, to Sir Romy, to the Guimaras State College, and of course, we have the IORI and the participants. Thank you for your attention. Duro-duro gid nga, salamat.